आपको नहीं रही go that way. Let me adjust this. So I should do this first. Good morning, Anu. Anu, I'm visible and audible, right?
Yes, sir.
You are.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, the muting here to control, otherwise it become very noisy, I think. So you'll have to do a all participant mute and only the speaker has to unmute kind of thing. I'll keep doing that, I think.
That Adit, can you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Just do it for now. In a few minutes, I will log in through my laptop. Logging in through multiple.
Yeah, because, and sharing also because I need to share. So when I had to share that when I start speaking, you'll have to, I think you'll have to stop sharing that thing and then I can share, right? Oh, can I just check the sharing right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think you can share.
Yeah, let me do that. Is it okay visible?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes, visible.
Is that the campus signal? That looks wonderful. This is Rajesh.
Yes, yes, it's our campus.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Rajesh, good morning. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I'll stay on mute.
Adit, are you there?
Yes, sir. Hello?
Yes. I'll call you in the phone. I'll call you in the mobile phone.
Are we live on YouTube?
It's live on YouTube, madam. And the link is updated in the website. And if you want, we can even broadcast once also.
Kumaran the t-shirt Podina t-shirt.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Station. Nice to see you. You're on mute. Mute, Station, you're on mute.
There you go. Okay, now I'm unmuted.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi.
This is Rajesh.
Yes.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Sunil. Yeah.
And we are ready to start.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural function of the Technological Innovation Foundation, TechIN, at IIT Palakkad. The launch of TechIN marks yet another milestone for the Institute, one that reflects our continued commitment to furthering innovation. TechIN intends to bring together several stakeholders, both industries and academic institutions, to collaborate on pertinent issues in diverse sectors. We begin this journey with a 6-day boot camp aimed at prospective engineers to help transform innovative ideas into concrete solutions. Before we start today's program, a quick announcement to say that this program is live on YouTube. We would like to extend a warm welcome to all our speakers, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, Dr. Jairam Varadaraj, Professor Sujata Srinivasan, Mr. Rajesh P., Professor L.S. Ganesh, Mr. Gaurav Tripathi, Dr. Srikant Sundararajan, Mr. Vipin Sondhi, and Professor Rajesh Nair. We're very delighted to welcome all the experts from industry as well as academia, all the students both from IIT Palakkad and from other institutions, and everyone who has joined us today. We would also like to cordially welcome Mr. Giridhar Krishna, MD Corey Rubber, our sponsor, who has graciously subsidized the kits and the entire event. The role of effective leadership in the growth of any organization is too obvious to be doubted. We at IIT Palakkad have been fortunate to have excellent leadership at all levels. With our director, Professor P.B. Sunil Kumar, at the helm of affairs, the Institute has made steady progress over the last 5 years in imparting its goals as a premier center of higher education. It seems fitting then that we begin today's program with our director's speech. I would now like to invite Professor P.B. Sunil Kumar to deliver his welcome address.
Thank you, Renu. It's a great pleasure and for me to deliver this welcome address on this occasion of the launch of our Technology Innovation Foundation, and also welcome all of you to this boot camp with which we are launching this Innovation Foundation. So let me just share a short presentation. So on behalf of IIT Palakkad and also the Technology Innovation Foundation of IIT Palakkad, I welcome Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, co-founder Infosys, and to this event as a keynote speaker and the person who's going to launch our Technology Innovation Foundation. Chris has been with us from the beginning, and in fact, we started the institute. The first inaugural speaker was also Chris Gopalakrishnan. So I'm very, very happy to see that another milestone you're setting. We're going into innovation, incubation, and startup activity. And the vehicle for that, which is the Technology Innovation Foundation of IIT Palakkad, that is TechIn, is going to be launched by him. I think it's very fitting, and I'm very thankful to him for agreeing to this. Welcome, Chris, to this event. Also thankful, and I also would like to welcome Mr. Jairam Varadaraj of LG Equipments. He is known to everybody in this region as the person who built up such a brand as LG in machines and equipments. And it's very, very nice to see that he's here with us today as a speaker, and he will motivate our students and faculty to work with the industry, especially hardware industry, and take technology incubation and startup activities in this region to new heights. Other speakers, as Renu mentioned, we have Sujata Srinivasan from IIT Madras, Rajesh P, who is a co-founder of Rapid Value Solutions from Kochi, Dr. L.S. Ganesh from IIT Madras, Mr. Gaurav Tripathi, who's a young entrepreneur, and we have Dr. Srikant Sundararajan, who is a IIT alumnus and has been a very strong supporter for us from the beginning, and Mr. Vipin Sonti, who is the CEO and MD of Ashok Leyland, who would be speaking in the closing session of this boot camp. So welcome to all of you in this thing. I must mention our deep appreciation and convey the welcome which from the whole of all of us to Mr. Rajesh, Professor Rajesh Nair, who has agreed to deliver this boot camp, conduct this boot camp for the coming 5 days. We had a lot of industry support in this event, but the first and foremost, I must thank and welcome my friend and our supporter, Giridhar Krishna of Kori Rubber, who has graciously agreed to support this event and our TechIn's activity in the coming years. So we are looking forward to it. Welcome, Giridhar, to this event. We have other support people from L&T, are from L&T, Mr. Lakshmesh and his team will be here with us today. And from Bosch, Ms. Lata and Ms. Pradeep and his team and their team, Jairam Vadraj's team from LG, and VGuard, a team from VGuard supported by Mr. Mithun Chitilapalli and his team, and Society of Smart Electric Mobility, SSEM, which is an organization which is a conglomerate of many organizations together at Coimbatore. It is led by Bosch, Roots, Giant Auto, Ampere, and many more companies together. So we're looking forward to working with all of these companies, and welcome to all of you to this event. This welcome note would be incomplete without mentioning our advisors Mr. Seshan Ramamohan is here with us today, and Mr. A.G. Karunakaran, Mr. Mani Iyer, all joining from the west coast of the US, and Mr. Rajan Srikanth, and joining us from Chennai, and Hari Sundaram from London, and all this our advisors for the Technology Innovation Foundation. Welcome to all of you, sir. I must also thank the board of directors, a board of governors of IIT Palakkad, and welcome all of them into this function. Without the support, we could not have come to this stage, and many other officials who have been involved at various stages in both the government, state and central governments. And the most important, the faculty and students of IIT Palakkad. I know I don't have to welcome them because it is their event. Okay, but since I'm also speaking on behalf of TechIn here. Okay, I welcome all of them into this event, and we have other supporters like outside the support from many people, many prominent people, and all of them I welcome into this event. Before we go into the main event, let me just, if the time permits, let me just run through a brief introduction to IIT Palakkad, to those people who are outside of IIT Palakkad. Here is our campus now. This is our, what we call as Nila campus. Nila, the river, is named after Nila, the river here, and the Bharatapura, that is what Nila is. And so this campus is a part of our main campus, and this is a kind of a bird's eye view you see of this campus entrance. So just to say that we started with a modest strength of 120 students, and now we have about 1,000 students thing, okay, and we have a whole range of courses which is running now. I'll come to that in a minute. Okay, and our main emphasis is now to look at both blue sky research and directed research as pillars of technology development. And our aim is to get into 5,000 students. So that's a brief about us. And as you can see, we started in 2014 is when the government announced this. 2015 is when we started here. 2016 we had the first board meeting, and then in 2019 in January we inaugurated the Nila campus. We were functioning from. We are still functioning, but partly from our temporary campus at Ahalya campus, and we moved here to started functioning from the main campus in 2019. And now in 2020 to 2021, we have now started a new chapter, which is going on to the technology, innovation, incubation, and startup activity. We run many course programs. As you can see, we run 4 BTech programs and 6 MTech programs and 3 MSc programs. Okay, and so we have started, even though we started in 2015 with only 4 BTech programs, now we are running about 12 courses, 12 different programs from this institute. And on the research and incubation side also, apart from TechIn, we have another incubation hub which is started here, okay, which is a technology incubation hub for intelligent collaborative systems. And this is under DST's mission on on interdisciplinary cyber physical systems. Okay, and so this is started here a couple of months back. And as you said, now this is the launch of technology innovation, the foundation of IIT Palakkad, that is TechIn, and I'm sure you will hear more about TechIn as it goes. I'm not elaborating on that, but this is another activity which we started as a milestone. And we have several central research facilities, and the idea of the institute has been to set up research facilities as a central facilities so that everybody can use it, and then we can put in more resources into it as a shared facility. Will be open to other people outside the institute also. So the maximum use of equipment in its lifetime is what we all envisage to do, and maximum output from any equipment any facility which we set up. We have set up, for example, as an example of the central facility, we have this, central instrumentation thing and a micro nano fabrication facility which we set up. And we have materials and manufacturing engineering facility, which is also being set up and is rapidly expanding into this. Even though we have limited space available, okay, we have not been holding anything, and the whatever space which were available, we are using that to a maximum extent and waiting to move into a new campus, which is under construction right now. Even research centers also, we are trying to concentrate, we need to have some key research centers which would be supported from the institute to a maximum extent. And for example, we have one center on VLSI system and architecture, and VLSI system architecture center, and then we have a computational imaging center, and these are all interdisciplinary centers. As you can see, that people are working together from different disciplines into these research in these research centers. Again, we have a physical and chemical biology research center started now. I'm sure as the time goes on, we will have more and more such centers added to it. Okay? So this is we also there's a center for computational imaging things, which has been very active, and very nice things have come out of it already. And we are looking forward to this center becoming one of the most prominent centers in India. Okay. We have a center for research and education in data science. Okay, this center is also running a MTech programs. It's not only just a research center; it's both education and research. Okay, so they're already running an MTech program which started this year, in this academic year, for the data science program, an interdisciplinary center again. Okay, we have been running industry academia conclaves the past 2 years. We have run that. Okay, this year it was online, of course. Last year we ran it on campus, and this adding this check-in activity would be another chapter to this. And along with the Center for Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems, we are really looking for a very strong industry interaction and technology development, and become a very prominent center for technology development in the region and in the country, and maybe in future in the world. And we hope Palakkad will establish a strong map, a strong point in the map of the world. Okay, so just to conclude, before that, I would say that this is a glimpse of our temporary campus, where we have about 700 students and 55 faculty offices same day. Okay, and this is our campus Nila, from where I'm speaking now. Okay, and where we have started in 2019. So with these words, let me once again welcome all of you into this kind of multiple into this event, which is actually have two purposes. One is to launch the uh, uh, Technology Innovation Foundation of IIT Palakkad, which is, as I said, will be our vehicle for innovation, incubation, and startup, and also to this 5-day boot camp, which Professor Rajesh Nair would be conducting starting from today. So I welcome all of you very heartily and warmly, also to IIT Palakkad, and hope all of you would be able to visit our beautiful campus in the coming days. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sunil, for taking us through the journey of IIT Palakkad so far. We are honored today to have as our first keynote speaker, Padma Bhushan awardee, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, best known as the co-founder of Infosys, where he occupied various positions, including that of CEO and vice chairman, and retired from in 2014. After his retirement, he set up a venture capital firm, Axilla Ventures, that has invested in a slew of startups. His philanthropic work is also very well known. He donated 225 crores to the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, to develop a center for brain research in what is one of the single largest donations the 112-year-old institute has received from an individual. He also contributed $2.5 million to establish a center for innovation and entrepreneurship at IIT Madras, his alma mater. He has held and continues to hold several distinguished positions. Most recently, in November 2020, he was appointed as the first chairperson of the Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. In 2011, the Government of India awarded him with the Padma Bhushan, India's third highest civilian honor. He has been described in the media as a thought leader, angel investor, and one of corporate India's most respected entrepreneurs and leaders. What an honor it is, sir, to have you with us today. I would now like to invite you to deliver your keynote speech and launch TechIn.
Thank you, Renu. Professor Sunil Kumar, distinguished guests, advisors for IT Palghat, TechIn, the Board of Governors, students, faculty members. Let me share my screen first. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So thank you for inviting me again to a key milestone for IT Palghat. You know, it's quite impressive. In a very short period of 5 years, you've actually scaled up the number of students, the number of faculty. You're building a new campus. You are also launching TechIn today. You know, to create a connect with industry, a better mechanism to connect with industry, and lots of new things that are happening. And so I'm very glad to be part of this journey. As an outsider, you know, I always think about the experience of building organizations. You know, I have been part of the Infosys journey, and I know what it takes to build an institution. And you are experiencing this. I think the faculty will definitely remember this for the rest of their life. And some of the early students will also remember the experiences. And when I talk to some of the older alumni of IIT Madras, they talk about the early beginnings of IIT Madras, actually. And you are going to see, you know, you're going to experience the same thing here. You know, the first class, the first temporary campus, moving to the new campus. You know, that experience is quite unique, and future students probably will hear stories from you, but they'll have to be satisfied with those stories rather than experience, actually. And this experience will increase your ability, your strength to face difficult challenges in the future. It will help you build institutions like this in the future. So now let me take you through my presentation. I'll talk about you know, why something like TechIn is very much important. I'll put that in the context of what is happening today in terms of you know, initially the crisis the entire world is facing, but beyond that, the opportunity that exists for us in technology and in India. Let me start off by officially launching TechIn. So we have the official launch here. So thank you, Anuradha, for making this set of slides and letting me do this from my PowerPoint itself. So, you know, TechIn is officially launched. See, the institute is not just students and faculty. The institute is in the ecosystem that consists of the society, of course. That's you know, that region, the people of that region, the industry that is there. But industry could be local, could be regional, could be national, could be global. You know, Sunil already mentioned that you know, he would like to see IIT Palghat be a icon, be a partner to industry globally. Truly, that is how we should think about it. Alumni is a very important part of this ecosystem. You will have the alumni growing in the future, but you need to start thinking about the alumni from day one itself. As and when students pass out, make sure that you create a mechanism for them to stay engaged with the institute. The students, do research, learn, faculty teach, faculty do research. But, in today's world, we need to start thinking about, the application of this knowledge for the benefit of society. And the knowledge creation itself is very important, but at different, stages or different time frames in the future, this knowledge will be used by society. Some will be used immediately, some will be used in the medium term, maybe some of it will be used in the long term. Typically, an institute will look at some ratio of applied knowledge which will be used in the next 5 years, and basic knowledge which could be used over the long periods of time. Both are equally important for progress in society. Both are important responsibilities of an institute. An incubator, a institution that is created to augment the activities of the institute, which gives it the freedom to step outside the institute, bring all these stakeholders into a common platform, bring all these stakeholders into the management of this institution, the second institution that I call the incubator, for want of a better name. It could be a society, a trust, a Section 8 company, etc., allows you to actually have a different make of that incubator organization. Now, this is actually accepted by the government. The government, in fact, encourages you to think about one or two institutions on the side of the institute. This is owned by IIT Palghat, but IIT Palghat can set this up different from the Board of Governors. See, traditionally, the Board of Governors will look at education and research. Yes, today more and more the Board of Governors realize that applied research is important. Working with industry to take this research to market is important. But here is a mechanism that allows the institute to think about this differently, and you can have purpose of this incubator. The purpose of the incubator is to create new products, create new businesses that will apply this knowledge and create useful products and businesses for society. I've shown startups here. So this is what IIT Palghat is doing. Professor Sunil Kumar talked about the DST project, Intelligent Collaborative Systems project that IIT Palghat has won from DST on cyber physical systems. And there it is a requirement that this be housed in a separate entity than the institute. The funding will go to this separate entity, and that entity will be able to not just spend it on activities which are required to create products and services, required to create startups, businesses. It can also actually sanction projects for industry as well as other research efforts that IIT Palghat wants to support. So in fact, this allows you to fund other programs and projects that IIT Palghat can fund. 50% of the funding goes towards external activities. So only 50% can be to industry, the institute activities, 50% is beyond or outside the institute. So these are now mechanisms to ensure that the impact of the activities of the institute can be thought in a much bigger frame of reference, and impact can be in the short term, and impact can be thought of as looking to bring new products and new businesses to society. So this is from the institute viewpoint. The need to think about application of the knowledge that is created, and a structure in order to make that indeed happen. And that's why I'm very glad that I'm here, as part of this celebration of what the institute has achieved, but also creation of the Technology Innovation Foundation of IIT Palghat. Now, let me look at it from the industry viewpoint. See, traditionally, industries have thought about vertically integrating, creating an organization that is self-sufficient. You look at what is happening inside that organization. But with internet, with ability to collaborate globally, with the ability to work with academic institutions like IIT Palghat, with the ability to work with partners in industry, suddenly you realize, which is always true, but the realization is more today because you have now mechanisms to collaborate, better mechanisms to collaborate. The innovation that is inside an organization, the knowledge that is inside an organization is limited. It's limited by its capability, it's limited by its resources, it's limited by the people. Whereas if you look at the innovation that's outside the organization, the knowledge that's outside the organization, that's actually an order of magnitude. You can think of that as the infinity outside an organization. And the organization's ability to tap in will in the future decide how good this organization will be. Now, I know of several organizations, actually several businesses that have set targets, that have set goals, saying that 50% of our revenue in any year or 30% of our revenue in any year must come from products and services that were introduced in the last 5 years, and out of that 50% must be sourced from outside the company, which is a very, very I think realistic and ambitious target that forces the organizations to go outside to seek innovation and things like that. And this is a very important mechanism for keeping that organization vibrant, dynamic, relevant in today's world. And there are mechanisms, as I said. One of the ways in which you do this is to work with the startup ecosystem around you, with the startup ecosystem in incubators like IIT Palghat is setting, etc. And there are two ways you look at it. One as strategic, where they are adjacent to your business, their products and services are adjacent to your products and services, and you would look at acquiring them once you're comfortable that they're going to be adding value to you, that you can integrate and take it inside your organization. The second is financial, where you want to support that ecosystem, you want to support those startups, you expect financial returns from those investments, but it also gives you a visibility into the innovation that's happening. And some of these financial investments may move to become strategic in the future. So having a plan to work with startups, I think is extremely important. This is very important from a knowledge acquisition point of view also, because the people who are involved in this learn a lot from working with startups. The way startups work, the way startups, today look at the speed of doing something, the way the startups are changing the business processes, the pace at which they work, etc., are all important pieces of knowledge that an organization need to understand and bring it inside. And last but not the least, the innovation outside is typically funded by what is called venture capital, risk funding, etc. Whereas the research that happens inside the organization goes off your P&L, maybe capitalized sometime, but it has impact on your profit and loss every single year. And so if the research fails, you take an impact on your profit and loss. Whereas if the research is done outside, majority of that is absorbed by risk funding, and it has no impact on your balance sheet. It has no impact on your P&L. So there are many reasons why this is becoming a very important model for organizations to look at working with the innovation that's happening outside. And if you don't have a program such as this, you're missing a lot. One final point here, if you look at market capitalization of businesses, new businesses get significantly high market cap, right? If you look at the top 5 companies in the US stock exchange, they are all less than 50-year-old companies. These are Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Google, or Alphabet, and Amazon, less than 50 years old. If you look at Tesla, their market cap is significantly higher than the top 3 automotive companies in the US. I think Tesla was set up in 2001 or something like that, right? They've disrupted the automotive industry. If you just look at Zoom, collaborative tool, I think 2008 or something like they were set up. I think, I don't know what is the market cap now, 60 billion to, plus actually. So you can see that, new businesses are actually valued higher. And so if your own business is not renewing itself, has not acquired in companies from outside and brought those capabilities inside, brought those products inside, you are losing out actually from market cap also. And if your market cap is below your competition, which is a new business, they will acquire you. These are important things that you need to think about. Let me go further. When you look at the current situation with COVID and things like that, what I want to highlight here is the appreciation of science and engineering has increased because our dependence on science, dependence on engineering has increased. Unprecedented collaboration between industry, academia, and government, global collaboration. The collaboration is digital, online, and the entire world is working to understand the virus, find cures, vaccines. It's amazing that we have 10 or 12 candidates today, vaccine candidates, all within the span of about 12 months since the virus really started spreading from last January actually, which is almost 1/4 the time that would have taken previously. The fastest a vaccine was brought to market was 4 years. Now we've got 10 vaccine candidates within a period of 1 year. This is also going to create a challenge for vaccinating 7 billion people. and largest number of non-peer reviewed papers and peer reviewed papers are published today. So the speed at which science and engineering is happening today, how can we institutionalize this? How can we actually do this on an ongoing basis? Why should science and research be, or creation of new products and services be at the slow pace that it is taking today? This also requires regulatory authorities to work to improve the speed and things like that. The transition to digital, how the entire world, only part of the population, I of course will accept that, transition to digital in such a very short period of time. And all when it is required, we change rapidly. When there is no choice, we change rapidly. Again, something that we need to think about actually. How can we internalize these things? How can we adopt and adapt to these kind of changes and transitions faster? It will probably not without mistakes, without errors and things like that, but we will learn to correct them if we increase the speed. So first point I want to make is the use of technology has increased, use of science has increased, appreciation has increased, and the speed also has increased by all stakeholders and participants, including the government. Government approval processes, government has removed so many restrictions and things that in India, board meetings had to be physical, otherwise attendance would not be marked. Now it can be virtual, AGMs can be virtual. Banks would accept scan checks. Previously, they would not accept a scan check and things like that. So many changes have happened. And why do we wait for a crisis for change to happen? We need to ask this question, and we need to think about these things very, very carefully. And what I always say is that future is not a linear extrapolation of the past. It is, of course, created integrated experiences, inventions, innovations till today. It is deeply influenced by leaders and entrepreneurs. I think that's what is very important. It's deeply influenced by scientists, researchers, innovators, whom I consider as leaders in their own field, and entrepreneurs. A disruptive technology or crisis can accelerate change. I just now described that actually. And the world is always looking for a faster, better, cheaper way to do things. And this is why I firmly believe, and I've experienced this actually, believe that we can transform our society, we can transform India in the next 20, 30, 40 years. Actually, we can. And we have seen this actually, creation of this IT services industry out of India, which is world class, which is the model that is become the de facto standard today. If you ask any business anywhere in the world today, if something can be done using a computer, and where would you do it? Most of the time they would say India. Where would you want to do software work to be done? India. This has become the de facto model. If you look around in Bangalore, if you look around in Chennai, if you look around in Hyderabad, you will see the R&D facilities of multinational corporations. They are second largest, third largest HR resource pool is in India today. In a span of maybe 20, 30 factor model, out of the top 10 companies in the world providing IT services, 5 are Indian today. So we have actually created a world-class industry in a lifetime, and brought significant changes. Now, this was on top of the digital computing revolution. And look at how much new technologies are actually in the horizon. I feel that the next 30 years are going to be even more exciting than the last 30 years. Even more exciting than the last 30 years, with IoT and computing everywhere, with 5G coming in, you will have ubiquitous connectivity, the whole AR, VR the vision revolution that we are seeing in front of us. Cloud computing, which is providing invisible computing all around us. The fabric of computing is everywhere now. 3D printing, which can change manufacturing. AI and ML, it's a fundamental technology, and I'll talk about this. Where, the whole area of genetics, code of life, biotech, and things like that, better materials, whole area of data business. I won't go into details of this. I just want to illustrate why these things are fundamental and why it will change everything that we do through one example. I feel that every industry is going to change because of this. Every single industry will change because of this. Healthcare will change because of wearable devices, connected appliances, telemedicine. We have already seen that happening now. Genomics will change healthcare, personalized medicine, robotic surgery, and the business model will also change, which becomes preventive and membership based. Media entertainment, already you're seeing the changes with how we consume content on our personal devices in an asynchronous mode. That means, the program is viewed asynchronously rather than live. So you have choices. It's interactive, shared experiences. Financial services, India is, I believe, a leader here to the world in terms of how the whole payment infrastructure has changed, the concept of account aggregators and things like that. During the COVID times, we see restaurants reimagining their businesses, looking at takeout services, home delivery, cooking lessons, delivering semi-cooked ingredients, digital customer interfaces and things like that, contactless experiences in restaurants. Retail, of course, is changing. Manufacturing is changing. Transportation, we are looking at complete transformation of transportation, including ownership of automobiles and things like that. Hospitality, look at the model of Airbnb, Ola, Oyo rooms and things like that, asset light models, etc. Every single industry is transforming because of the technologies that I talked about. And this is a great opportunity for us, actually. I will just touch upon one technology. I have slides on another, but I won't have time to take you through that. See, the digital computer revolution was about automating what we can do, what we know how to do. So if you can write an algorithm, feed it into the computer as a computer program, then feed in the data, the results will come out. But we need to know how to solve the problem. If we know how to solve the problem, we can use the power of computing, and the power is immense, actually. We can do maybe, the best of us can do 100 calculations per minute. A computer can do billions of calculations per minute. So we throw the power of the computing to actually do what we can do manually and get better results, get amazing results, actually. And this has transformed the world over the last 50 years, right? But look at what the paradigm is now. You actually train the computer. You don't need to know how to solve the problem. So you tell the computer, these are all pictures of faces, right? And you are able to then train the computer to recognize faces. And that's what now we are using. We are creating machines that when trained to solve problems, we don't need to know how to solve the problems. We just need to tell it, this is the desired result, and it figures out the algorithm. So the output of AI ML is the program, whereas the program was the input to the digital computing revolution. Here, we are now using the power of computing to solve problems. And it's a very different paradigm. And what happens because of that? A huge number of problems till now, which were unsolved, can now be solved, what I call the intelligence revolution. Speech recognition, real-time translation, intelligent personal assistance, surveillance possibilities, etc. Because you can recognize people, you can recognize things, self-driving cars, all of these things. And in the future, I believe that artificial intelligence will be possible. We don't replicate, humans don't replicate what nature does the same way. We don't have flapping wings in our aeroplanes, right? It's fixed wings, whereas all the birds we see, flap their wings. We tried flapping wings. We figured out very quickly it don't work. So we created a new mechanism to do things. So when we replicate, we don't exactly replicate. If you look at arithmetic, how computers do arithmetic, it's not how we do arithmetic. We do arithmetic actually using pattern recognition. Remember how we learn multiplication tables and things like that. We are actually putting that in your memory, and it does pattern recognition actually. So a network of machines can be more intelligent than humans. Now, if you create an AI ML system for specific tasks, combine them together, I believe that we will be able to create systems that are more intelligent than humans in the near future, which is artificial general intelligence. And we are seeing that actually. Our mobile phones are becoming more and more intelligent. They know more about us than us do or family does. IoT, I won't go into that. I believe it's fundamental. From going from 5 billion connected computers to 50 to 60 billion, it'll transform the world. The whole data revolution, again, will transform the world. I want to conclude by saying that India opportunity is huge. And that is why I am very optimistic to say that in some sense, 20th century was US century, 21st century, we can make it to India century. We are the second largest consumer base. We are a poor country, but we are growing very rapidly to become maybe a $20 trillion economy. Imagine from 2.7 trillion today to 20 trillion in the next 30, 40 years. And that's what the future holds for the students of today. That's your responsibility to make sure that India becomes a middle income country, a middle class country. And we will create several world-class companies and industries. NASSCOM predicts that we will have 50 unicorns this year. We are already the third largest ecosystem for startups. This will change India, and India will actually lead the world in certain things actually. And we have created our own model for development, which I hope will be a different model that other countries have created. More sustainable model, more equitable model, more inclusive model. And we are starting to create this base actually. We have a large number of IT professionals. We continue to create scientists and engineers in large numbers. Till now, we are feeding the rest of the world, mainly to the US, but I think some of them will now stay back because there will be opportunities to do research in India. There will be opportunities for entrepreneurship in India. The incubators are very important. IIT Madras Research Park has championed this, but now I'm very glad that many other IITs are taking this forward. We have created a new education policy. We have increased spending on R&D and focus on lab to market processes, and industry is an important partner in this. And this is what I mean by India's model for development, which is more equitable, sustainable, inclusive. We need to create new models for our cities, how we live, livable cities and things like that. 21st century business and business models, healthcare for all, regenerative agriculture, everything will change. And that is the opportunity for India, because when things change, new leadership can be created. So on the occasion of the launch of TechIn, I wanted to give you a context of how research is applied through creation of structures within the institute, how industry must partner. If industry does not partner, they're going to lose out. So I would request industry to partner in a big way, create internal benchmarks, internal goals to how this partner will benefit you and drive your leadership to truly take advantage of this. In the short term, we saw how our dependence on science and technology, digital, etc., have increased. But more importantly to me, the speed at which it has happened and why we can't use that speed. Then I talked about the opportunity that technology provides to create transformation, leadership opportunity, and why I believe India is the place to take full advantage of this and emerge in the 21st century. That is, in the next 30 to 40 years or 50 years, emerge as a world leader to create new businesses and new business models. So thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts at this point. Thank you very much and congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, for setting the tone for the next chapter of IIT Palakad's journey, which we have set foot into today. For the important reminder that an institute is not just its students and faculty, but a significant part of a larger ecosystem that includes its alumni, industry, society, and the government. And also for highlighting the need for collaboration among different stakeholders to achieve more efficient solutions for the various challenges that the world faces. Thank you, sir. We would now like to introduce another distinguished business leader, Dr. Jairam Varadaraj, Managing Director, LG Equipments. In 2019, LG Equipments, one of the world's leading air compressor manufacturers with 2 million installations across 100 countries, won the coveted Deming Prize for Excellence in Total Quality Management. Dr. Jairam serves on the board of several companies. He received an MBA from George Washington University and a doctorate in international business from the University of Michigan. I would now like to invite Dr. Jairam Varadaraj to deliver his keynote address on building the state of the future art.
Thank you so much. After Mr. Gopalakrishnan's speech, I hope that I'm able to, my presentation can live up to the standard that he established. I will certainly try. It's great to be here on this forum, and it's my pleasure to be here. I wish the Technology Innovation Foundation of IIT Palakkad the very best. It's great to see this initiative. It's fundamental that if we as a nation have to become a developed nation, become a respected power in the global context, technology is going to be one of the key foundations. And it's great to see that premier institutions of engineering and technology playing a fundamental role in building the foundation of this. I'd like to set some context in terms of what I want to say this morning about building the future, the state of the future art. Now, for me, every business is a growth business and a huge opportunity. Some of us think that only certain segments of business are growth opportunities. My personal belief is every business, there are huge growth opportunities. And especially the global opportunities that we have. I will set this context and talk a little bit in that context about our own experience. So it will give some relevance to what I'm talking about. And global opportunities in most of our businesses is 10 to 15 or 20x of what the Indian opportunities are. And therefore, when we think about how to structure our business, build our aspiration, and think about our own opportunities, it is critical that we look at the global context rather than just purely an Indian context. And in my opinion, I don't think we have an option. As we integrate, India integrates with the rest of the world, it's open season. I mean, it's fair play, fair game for anybody to come and do business. And if you're going to be India-centric, then you're going to have global players coming and pounding you out of the market. So therefore, your main defense is a very offensive strategy, is to say, take on the world markets and say, how do you compete globally? Now, when we are looking at the global opportunities, I think it is important that we are looking at a value play rather than a cost play, right? It is important because if we look at each one of us goes to work in the morning because we want to improve our standard of living. And one aspect of our standard of living is what we earn. And if our strategy is built on us earning less, we are shooting ourselves in our own foot. So we need to build on value plays and not a cost play. Yes, because of our current context in India, there is a cost window that is open. I think we need to get out of that window and shut it on our own rather than waiting for somebody else to shut it for us. I think it's extremely important. So, and the other aspect of it is copypreneurship. You know, copypreneurship is a very competitive tool. I don't mean to say it in a very derogatory way. You do that in every journey, there is a catch-up phase and a get-ahead phase. And in the catch-up phase, you're really copying, you're learning from somebody and you're trying to build your products and services. Nothing wrong with that. But if you stay in that mode and if you stay in that envelope, then it's a sure formula for a slow, painful death. Now, if you look at all the companies or companies from countries like Japan in the post World War II, in the 50s, Korean companies, post-Korean War, starting from the 60s, and now Chinese companies that really have started globalizing, they went through that same path. They developed a business model of rapid copying. You know, you could get, I'm not advocating violating intellectual property, so don't get me wrong. I think we have to respect intellectual property, but that doesn't mean you cannot become, create products and services that offer the same value proposition to customers very quickly. And that stage is important because that's where you're building your know-how, right? And it's a strong foundation for building the next, which is the know-why. Now, if without know-how, you're not going to get the know-why. And if you don't go through the journey that the others have gone through, you're never going to build your know-how, and therefore you're not going to get your know-why. Now, this is the context. Now, how do we build the state of the future art? Now, the starting point is a disruptive innovation. Now, while you are doing your business, competing with the existing guys, there is a catch-up track that you need to run. And there is a get-ahead track that you need to parallelly pursue. So there are two tracks that an organization needs to pursue in their aspiration to build a global business. So I'm going to talk about more on the track of building the future and the know-why of the business. Now, building the future, the state, the future art is about disruptively deep understanding of what the customer needs, right? Or the customer wants. A lot of times our focus on the first track, which is where you're really delivering value based on what is the current state, and you're trying to deliver better value in the current state, where you're talking about delivering the customer's needs. In the right-hand track, you need to really talk about what the customer wants. And I want to differentiate here with a very powerful example. All of us are, we are familiar with shampoo and soap and every hygiene product in a sachet, right? That was an innovation that came out of a company called Velvet, the brand called Velvet. Now, the underlying logic, I mean, you had Hindustan Lever, you had P&G, you had Colgate, were selling shampoo in a bottle. Now, a 200 ml bottle for an Indian customer was not affordable for a large section of the market, but they had aspiration to consume those products, but it was out of their reach. So Velvet, as a disruptive innovation, brought the product, an aspirational product, in an affordable envelope for the mass, and they just took off. Now, that for me is understanding the customer's need. They clearly understood there was a problem of cash. It was not a question of price, it was a question of cash for the Indian customer. They did not have the cash to go and buy a 200 ml shampoo bottle, right? So they brought it in 1 rupee. The cash flow was comfortable for the Indian customer, and they created a revolution. That for me is a very powerful example of understanding the customer's want, because when you go and ask a customer what you need, they will talk about it in the current state of art. But to understand the want is understanding the pain point of the customer, the aspirational needs of the customer, and that will help you derive what is the want that is missing, that is not being delivered, and that becomes the kernel of your disruptive innovation platform. The innovation should be simple, but it should be very strongly technology-based. Again, it's not about cost plays, it's not about scale-based, it is about technology-based, but the innovation itself has to be very simple. I mean, if you look at many of the disruptive innovation, you take the case of Uber, where they're talking about leveraging assets. The principle itself was very, very simple. But what they did was use extensive, insightful envelope of technology around a very simple idea. So I think it is important for us to derive the customer's wants through a disruptively deep understanding of the customer, but the actual idea itself should be very simple. If it's complicated, then I think we're going to have a very complex problem and probably not solve it very well. As a country, we are not the most respected globally for quality, right? And if we want to build a global business, so we are not well respected for quality or well known for quality. And I think in our global journey, one of the fundamental requirements is that above all else, there has to be quality. The customer experience on our products and services have to be so superior that there's absolutely no question of saying, you know, there were regrets in buying our products or services. So if you really look at the journey of most of these companies that have built multinationals, countries that have built multinationals, whether it's Japan or Korea, if you look at their foundations on which they've built that, quality would be right up there as a #1 criteria. And I think it's for companies in India who are aspiring to go global, who are trying to build multinationals out of India, I think quality is table stakes. It's not an option. And it's not about being as good. It is about being better than the best. And I think it's possible. And I'll come back at the end and talk about our own story in that context. So what's our story? We make compressors. Now we make industrial and portable compressors. Now compressed air is a utility in any factory. It's like electricity or water or gas. So every factory that needs a compressor, compressed air, and unlike electricity, which is generated centrally and delivered to factories, compressed air has to be produced on site, and that therefore there is a relevance for a compressor, and that's our business. And if you look at the Indian market for compressors, it's about $700 million, and the global market for compressors is 15 billion. So clearly, if you want to be relevant, even in India, you've got to play globally. And if you want to be relevant in India, the kind of investment that you have to put in people, in technology, in your processes, a $700 million market does not justify. So you need to necessarily look at a global context, which has been our journey for the last 25 years. Today, we are present in most of the countries. We are operating in about 100 countries, but strategically, we are playing in about 6 countries in the market, in the world, and progressively, we are increasing our share. So what's our recipe? Now, one is what I said, the catch-up track. We deliver, we claim, and this is proven by independent third parties, that we make one of the most efficient products, and our quality ranking right now in the world is #2, right? And we have very clear aspirations to become #1. Cost for us is a given. The price at which we sell is a given. I mean, for an Italian customer or a German customer to buy an Indian product, and that too a capital goods that has to run a factory, there has to be an incentive, so that's a given. So we don't even lead with price. It's a given at the end of the negotiation. Parallelly, what are we doing? The second track is like we are looking at disruptive change of what a compressor will have to bring in terms of efficiency, in terms of its impact on environment. Unfortunately, compressed air, the efficiency of compressed air as an energy source is only about 30 to 35%. So it's a very inefficient source of energy. So we are really disrupting that and saying, how can we move the needle? And therefore, environmentally, we are better. And of course, it helps the customer as well. And we launched our first such product in Germany last year. And it's been an absolute, the reception to the product has been outstanding. So that's just the beginning. And we are building on that. And I believe that, like I said, every product has opportunities for growth. Every product has an opportunity for disruptive thinking. And through that disruptive thinking, we can build profit sanctuaries and moats that are very unique and are founded on technology. So this is really what I wanted to share in this morning. I'm extremely pleased with the initiative that has been taken here to incubate technology, to partner with industry. It's great to see it. It's such a foundational part of our India story and India's journey to become a recognized superpower in the world. So thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jairam Maharaj, for the insights on what should be driving innovation and success of a business. Thank you, sir. I would like now to introduce Professor Rajesh M. Nair, who is on a mission to nurture 1 million children into entrepreneurs. Professor Rajesh M. Nair is a professor of practice in innovation and entrepreneurship at Asia School of Business, started by MIT Sloan and the Central Bank of Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. He was one of the founding faculty of ASB. He also served at MIT as a visiting scholar. He started companies like in varied fields such as thermal engineering of electronic products, data center energy optimization, sensing air flows for environmental management and instruments, consumer products, and training in creativity and problem solving. Professor Rajesh M. Nair received master's degree in system design and management from MIT, manufacturing engineering from University of Massachusetts Amherst, and electronic product design from Indian Institute of Science. I would like now to invite Professor Rajesh to speak of his mission to nurture 1 million children into entrepreneurs. Professor Rajesh.
Thank you, Anup. I'll keep my talk very short. The question is, can entrepreneurs be created? And this has been the problem that I was working for 8 years for my research at MIT and my research at Asia School of Business. And I believe primarily our current effort, most of the entrepreneurship development programs are primarily enterprise development programs. Question is, how do you get entrepreneurs to come and join, aspiring entrepreneurs to come and join these programs? If you can go upstream in the development and go to the students in schools and colleges, and how do you change their mindset so that they could they aspire to be entrepreneurs, and hopefully that becomes a feedstock to the rest of the programs that are coming up. And the three major factors that change their thinking are self-efficacy, opportunity sensing, and creativity. And so the framework primarily is, I've done about 80 or so workshops all over the place. It's like, how do you take these students, train them to become makers who can design and create things, become innovators who can identify and solve problems, and become entrepreneurs who can monetize and commercialize their projects. And this workshop is going to go for 6 days. And the first 2 days we are going to go through making skills. So students are going to learn for user interface design to mechanical design, electronics. They'll be learning CAD, they'll be learning electronic system design, coding. They will be making mini products every single day. They should be making on the whole more than 100 products through the 6 days. They will also work in design thinking, future thinking, and entrepreneurship thinking by the 6th day. And I wish more people would come and everyone could come and watch their final presentation on the 6th day. And also tomorrow evening they will be showing the design projects. So with this is what I do for youth. And we are currently, the next project we are starting is to send out STEM kits to 700 students in villages around Mysore so that they could learn to design these kind of things at home. So that is the next project to reach my goal of reaching 1 million students and generate entrepreneurs from that group. So with that, I'll just stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rajesh. So Professor Rajesh is, we are proud to have you here to lead our first ever INNODEATE bootcamp of IIT Palakkad. He's the right person to lead us, and the next keynote will be tomorrow at 12:15 p.m. by Dr. Sujata Srinivasan of IIT Madras. She will be speaking on innovation on assistive devices. Before we conclude this session and moving on to the first session of INNODEATE Bootcamp, we have a couple of wishers who said good words and great things about great future for our Tekin. And Ms. Anuradha, could you please?
He's telling me he will ask for fire. You have to give him fire.
Yeah.
I said, if you are the gardener, I only need
what you should do is,
otherwise I keep that man.
Is it audible?
No. Could you please?
And because maybe he's younger and
Yeah.
he's a lumpy fellow. Maybe he's younger and I can check out his work also, which is also good for me. I keep it.
Anu, just announce the awards while I figure this out.
Yeah, sure. So we would like to announce that there will be 2 awards for the best 2 teams who are participating in the INNODEATE Bootcamp based on their pitch and presentation on the final day of Bootcamp. So hope be ready and have a wonderful Bootcamp here. And yeah, that. So Anu ma'am, the video.
Anu, there's no audio.
Hope there are some glitches in the video. We will try to air in the next open session that's coming tomorrow. And we will now move to the boot camp. Thank you all for joining. And we all will meet tomorrow for the open session. And the participants of bootcamp, please log into the bootcamp Zoom login, which was emailed you earlier. So we will be starting up in 5 minutes. Professor Rajesh.
Yes, I'll be
Yeah.
taking down. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Hanu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Students, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
My best wishes on the inauguration of the Technology Innovation Center at IIT Palghat. I sincerely wish that this Technology Innovation Center becomes the nodal point for convergence of the scientific temperament of scientists and researchers, of innovative ingenuity of engineers, and the entrepreneurial aspirations of businessmen into transforming science into viable solutions. I wish this center comes up with such solutions which will support harmonious existence and collective progress of our planet, our country, our people, and society at large. I sincerely thank government for its foresight and long-term orientation in establishing such technology innovation centers, which will re-establish the interdependencies between research institutes, innovators, and business organizations in creating growth and progress for all. My best wishes.
Yeah, that was
Thank
very
you.
nice.
That was
from-
Mr.
yeah.
Lakshmish from Larsen and Toubro, Coimbatore.
Thank you all. So, students, we will be joining in the Zoom link. Thank you.
Anu madam, we will end this meeting, shall we?